Hello everyone, JRDL96 here with a brand new reaction. As you can tell by the title, it's another Jacksepticeye video, and it's I guess another, childhood story that this Jack has decided to tell. Now, the title alone kind of is interesting. My sister was possessed. Now, I think we've heard the story before. If some of you have watched, I think one of the panels he did at PAX East, or the PAX, it was either PAX West or PAX East. Somebody asked him, have you ever had any paranormal experience? And this is the story he told, where he thought his sister was possessed. And I think I have somewhat of my own paranormal experience myself, but I'll get into that after this video. And I mentioned it before too, so anyways, let's just get right into it and see what does he have to say. It's probably going to be the more detailed version of this story and not the brief one we got at PAX. So let's get right into it. So without put the let's react to this video, shall we?
My sister is possessed by the devil.
Oh my god.
Or at least that's what I thought when I was like 10. Let me step things back just a little bit. Strap yourselves in. Story time. When I was 10 years old, or thereabouts, I watched The Exorcist for the first time.
Oh god.
Your mother's a coffin held.
I knew nothing about the movie. I was 10. I didn't even know what my
that movie is
were
fucking
at that
crazy.
Point. All I knew was that it was some sort of scary, terrifying movie that everyone was talking about. Now, being 10 years old, I wasn't supposed to be watching that. No one should have allowed me to watch that movie. But my sister thought, hey, that might be fun. She brought the movie home on a VHS. Back in the day when we all had tape players. Some of you don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I remember those.
This old man. She brought this movie home from school. Said it was the most scary movie of all time.
The scariest movie of all time.
Everyone was terrified of it. And I was like, ooh, I'm a big boy. I'm 10. I can watch anything. Give it to me. Give me hard drugs as well. I can handle it. Oh no. No. Sweet baby summer child. You couldn't even handle dinner at that age. She said she was going to watch the movie that night. And I was like, cool. I'll watch it with you. That'll be awesome. It'll be a great bonding sesh for the lads. But she went away and hung out with her friends that afternoon. And the tape was just sitting there, lying in her room, on top of the VHS player, and I just couldn't help myself.
Oh god. I
had to watch. Stuck the tape in, had to rewind it, of course, because you had to back then. Everyone forgot to do that after they watched movies. And I started to just digest the movie. It was going along, had no idea what to expect.
What was going to happen.
I wish I could go back to those simpler times.
You're gonna die up there.
If you've never seen The Exorcist, nowadays it's probably quite dated. There's a lot of stuff in it that probably looks a little goofy.
Well, back then it was probably one of the scariest things they've ever seen.
A girl who got possessed and starts swearing at priests. And you also have to remember that at 10 years of age,
and she put a cross in her.
Extremely Catholic.
You know where?
Back in what age was I when in 2000, the year 2000, I was 10 years old. Holy Mother of God, the year 2000, 20 years ago. Oh.
I think I was 4.
Projectile vomit like they did in the movie. So I was doubly heightened to be afraid of the devil. I didn't want the devil in my house. I didn't want him near me. Just didn't really want to hang out with him. It's just not something I really wanted in my childhood. And I can't remember how far into the movie I got. But I stopped. I could not watch the entire thing. I think I stopped halfway. I don't even know what happened. At that point, I had to. I was so scared. I kept looking over my shoulder constantly. I wasn't following the narrative. I was looking at some of it through my hands. It was terrifying.
Yeah. Some of the shit she said.
But I hadn't told anyone in my house that I had watched the tape. I didn't even tell my sister at that time. I just turned it off.
It actually fucked her up too. She had a lot of damage to her body.
Muse over life. Probably sat in my pile of sand and was just like, what's happening? But that night is when stuff really kicked off. I like I said, I didn't tell anyone I watched it. I just went to bed. I could barely sleep anyway because the memories of this girl with a crucifix stabbing herself in areas that I didn't even know were haunting my brain. That's when my sister started to talk in her sleep. Now, I should rewind this back a little bit further and give you context to tell you that before I watched the movie, my sister had only told me that it was a girl who finds a Ouija board and summons the devil.
Yeah.
And my sister had told me in that moment that she and her friends had also tried to do that a couple of weeks prior. And my sister and I shared the same room. She was in the bunk below me and I was above her on the top bunk. And as soon as she started to speak in her sleep, I was convinced she was talking in tongues. I bolted my eyes open, sat upright, and never felt the fear of Satan more than I did in that moment. I was convinced the devil had entered my sister's body. The Ouija board that she had messed with her friends had become a conduit.
The siren back?
And now Satan was in my house sharing a bunk bed with me.
Anti-siren?
You have summoned the Prince of Temptation.
Oh Christ, South Park.
Oh, shit.
She just talking and talking in tongues. I don't know, trying to summon some demons into the house to kill me.
Demons, Jim.
I was sitting there panicking, heart rate,
Panic at the disco.
Sweat coming down off my face. So what did I do to combat this? Like any kid would do at 10 years old in Ireland. I started to pray. I started saying Hail Marys. I started saying
Our Father.
the prayer of our Lord, our Father. But in the middle of one of my Hail Marys, it got even worse. I was halfway through the prayer and my sister started to laugh in her sleep. So I was like, okay, Satan knows
Fuck this.
He thinks that it's not going to work. He's laughing at me, trying to summon God. You know what? If she can summon Satan into the house, why can't I summon the baby Jesus? So as soon as I heard the giggles, I stopped, stared over into the darkness, expected to see her face at the top of the ladder next to me. So what did I do then? I didn't even use the ladder to get out of bed. I jumped out of bed for fear that the devil would grab my tiny little twig ankles, ran to the light, turned it on. The room illuminated. Satan was nowhere to be seen. I trepidatiously moved over to my sister's bed and looked at her, expecting to see scars on her face and a crucifix in her hand, ready to reenact what had happened in the movie. But no, she was just fast asleep, just talking to herself. So I woke her up, I shook her gently. And she woke up, she was like, what? What are you doing?
What is
Why are you awake?
You fucking
My sister, of course, was only like 14 at the time. She wasn't that much older than me. But she was old enough to think that her 10-year-old brother was a little shit who just would not shut the fuck up and settle down at any moment of life. So I shook her, she woke up, and I asked, the first thing out of my mouth was, are you the devil? And she reacted with, no, shut up and go back to sleep. So he said, but I watched the movie and you said Ouija board summoned the devil and you did that and in the movie the devil came. She just looked at me like I was some sort of freak.
Dumbass.
She rolled over, went back to sleep, told me to turn off the light, and that was it. I didn't get any clarification on whether or not the devil had entered her body or whether or not she was ready to kill me. I went over, turned off the light, walked back towards the bunk, sped up the ladder faster than anyone has climbed the ladder. I should have went to the Fire Academy Olympics at that point.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow. Now that's
I just lay back in bed, like dead center, so the hands couldn't come up over the bunk and grab me. I just start praying again. And eventually, I fell asleep. I must have, because I woke up the next morning and I was still alive and my sister was not in her bunk. Now, either she was never possessed by the devil or I died that night and everything I'm living right now is a lie and a simulation. I have never seen The Exorcist since. I think I saw the ending somewhere, but I have never watched the entire movie start to finish for fear that some sort of childhood trauma, PTSD, will kick in and I won't be able to sleep for a week. But all I know is that at some point in my childhood, I shared a night with Satan and my sister was possessed by the devil.
Okay, that's it. Just abrupt. Just an abrupt ending and that's it. Nah. So it's pretty much the same story as before with that I've heard, and some people have already heard it from one of the PAX panels that somebody asked him about if he's ever had any paranormal experience. So this is kind of familiar, but yeah, it's pretty much the same story. But yeah, that movie is really fucking crazy. Well, I think now, it's not as scary, but I think back then, when it came out originally, it's because you never seen anything like that before in movies. And the fact that it was based on, you know, somewhat true events, because there was a boy, I think a 14-year-old boy that was possessed, and they had to perform exorcisms on him. And they based that story for The Exorcist. Which is insane. Like, but yeah, the actress who plays Linda Blair, she had some really pretty fucked up injuries she sustained from all that stuff that she did for that film. Oh man. Yeah, that movie was cursed. Like, I think one of the sets burned down. Linda's mother, she suffered some pretty severe injuries. Someone had suffered pneumonia. You know, a lot of stuff. A lot of bad stuff. The Omen, that's another one. Like a plane crash and killed everybody. Like a lot of fucked up shit. Yeah, but yeah, sometimes I guess people talk in their sleep. I had one of my friends do that, and I actually had to wake him up because he was screaming for his mother, and I had to wake him up to assure him he was alright. So that was pretty fun. But, since he's talking about, you know, paranormal related stuff, I kind of mentioned earlier that I've had somewhat of my own paranormal experience. I kind of believe in the paranormal a little bit. But, this, to me, I think happened. I don't care if people say, oh, it was this. It was probably this or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But, what happened was, this is around August 2016, around when the Summer Olympics began. That's how I remember it. Like, so, I'm at work in my other job where I'm at the supermarket and I am working at the deli department, and it's just me and someone else, and then there's another person who's cleaning the hot foods area section of the deli department, and it's just me and this other person, and we're the only two on the counter, and we have to help customers, and we have to do these kiosk orders, like these, you put the orders in. It's kind of like this thing that you see at like McDonald's and Wendy's. You put the order in through a little machine, and then you wait. That type of thing. And I had to juggle both at the same time. I was running back and forth, back and forth. I overworked myself. Yeah, because I'm really dedicated to that. Not the greatest thing to do, but I was really stressing myself out, and I really was trying to hurry with everything, get everything done so I can get to the next person so they don't have to, why are we waiting so long? Why is no one helping me? I didn't want to have anybody say that, so I didn't want to hear anybody say that, so I was trying to get that. Even someone remarked, oh, look, someone's fast. But then finally, after a while, it finally stopped. And it was finally calm again. And I got a chance to take a breath, take a breather and stuff like that. And here I am standing in this one particular area that's like in the middle section of the deli. Like there's like this one section that goes into the back that's like all the way at the end. Then there's this one section in the middle that is in between the hot foods area, and one in the other direction goes for the deli, for all the slicers are. So I was standing pretty much around that area, just sitting there waiting for maybe the potential next customer to walk up. And while I'm doing that, I start to smell cigarette smoke. And I'm like, why the fuck is someone smoking? Like again, because why am I smelling smoke here when they should be outside? But then I start to smell it more and more, and it was more distinct. It was like more of like a cigar like cigarette. And it was more recognizable to me. And I remember smelling this when I was a kid because that was the kind of cigarette that my late grandfather smoked. And in that moment, I started to feel this something like, comforting me. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I remember just like thinking in my head, and then the realization, like there was a lot of things going through my head at that moment, and then I thought of Ghost Adventures because of that one thing they've said, where different smells lead to the presence of spirits, like cigarette smoke, or stuff like certain things. And I thought of that, and then I'm like, and I said, Grandpa? And I think in that moment, I think he came to visit me, to comfort me after a really stressful time out there while at work. Now, I'm pretty sure you'll probably try to debunk it, saying, oh, it's probably from the people in the back who was outside smoking. Well, you gotta understand that the smoke, the fumes, whatever, had to travel all the way up, down, up, and then travel all the way to the right to where I was. There's no way it would have lasted that long. Like, if you don't want to believe it, that's fine, but seriously, I don't think that that's really the case. That's how I feel about it. I feel like that's what happened. And obviously, my grandfather is... and I actually... He's really special to me. He really meant a lot to me. And to the point where I ended up naming one of my characters after him. Dr. Robert Spindler. That was him. Well, he wasn't really a doctor. But I decided to name my German doctor, my doctor with German accent, Dr. Robert Spindler. That's what I thought that was really awesome. And before I decided to do this, I ended up asking my grandmother if that was alright. And she said, go for it. He would love that. He probably wouldn't understand that. He wouldn't really understand any of this. But here's another story. Like, that was pretty much my, I guess you could say, paranormal experience that I had. Pretty much, I just smelled cigarette smoke. That was pretty much the same kind that my grandfather used to smoke before he died, when he was alive. But here's another one. This was more recent, and this is when I was uploading the video with the Dr. Spindler's video at the end. When I was uploading the video, I started to get this little hyperventilation. I started to hyperventilate for some reason. I started to get a little anxiety and something like that. I guess you could say it was kind of a little bit of a little panic attack. I don't know. When I was uploading it, but then I started to feel this same comforting feeling again overwhelm me. And I knew it was him. And that really meant a lot to me too. And I hope with this character, I hope I'm making him proud. Anyways, I think that's it on today. That's pretty much my stories of my paranormal experiences. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, his story was not... Obviously, I tried to relate, but mine was way different to what he had to go through, where he thought his sister was possessed by the devil because she was talking in her sleep. And, so... Again... felt like sharing that. It's not the first time I've shared this story before. I've shared it in the BTS video for Good Deals 3. I shared that. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's reaction. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Be sure to ring that bell to be part of the notification squad. Be sure also to check out my Instagram because I make collabs and Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, even myself. I also do reenactments and cosplays on there, so go check it out. Be sure also to check out my Tumblr and my Discord in the description as well. So until next time, JRDL96 signing out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!